Visitors from the UK, be warned. You might actually have to hand over your passwords or not get into the country. Now, as part of a new policy proposal being considered by the Trump administration as part of its extreme vetting program, British travelers to the United States could now face the choice of either handing over their personal information, including social media passwords and mobile phone contacts, or run the risk of being denied entry to the United States, to the country. Now, this comes from The Guardian, and they're reporting that tourists from the UK and other US allies, including Germany and France, could be forced to reveal personal information, personal data, as well as disclose financial information and face detailed ideological questioning, according to Trump administration officials quoted by the Wall Street Journal. So it's not just that they're, asking for your passwords. They're also asking for your ideology. And if there's an ideology that they don't like, sorry, can't get into the country. Well, what kind of ideology? Anything that the administration deems not acceptable. So what are we going to do? Atheism? A lot of Trump supporters think that we're a Christian country, that we're a Christian nation. Well, if you say, well, hey, man, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in any religion. We're just coming over here for a trip, a business trip. Sorry, man, you're an atheist. We don't agree with that. Sad day. Because, again, you're not an American citizen. Now, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol told The Guardian all international travelers arriving to the U.S. are subject to U.S. Customs and Border Protection inspections. This inspection may include electronic devices such as computers, disks, disk drives, tapes, mobile phones, and other communication devices, cameras, music, and other media players, and any other electronic or digital devices. So basically anything that you would want to take on the plane or take into the country for any sort of communication. You bring your cell phone. Well, you got your cell phone. Hey, you got passwords on there, right? Well, let me log into your Facebook through your phone. Let me log into your Twitter. Let me see your emails. Let me see all this private information, to make sure that you're not a terrorist. Because that's, of course, what it's done in the name of. Now, they said keeping America safe and enforcing our nation's laws in an increasingly digital world depends on our ability to lawfully examine all materials entering the U.S. But in this case, it is lawful. Because, again, these people they're visitors. They're not American citizens, so unfortunately for them, they are not protected by the Constitution. But if we do a policy like that, well, then you're not going to have anybody that's going to want to come here. That's the obvious issue with this. In fact, we've already had a bit of that since Donald Trump became president. In fact, in February, it was estimated that Trump's policies, like the failed Muslim ban, which is still, of course, in court, cost the travel industry a total of $185 million. They're calling it the Trump slump. In fact, a travel company, Hopper, which analyzes billions of flight searches around the world, has said that demand for flights to the United States were 10% lower after Trump got into office than before. Now imagine if all visitors coming into the United States have to give up their social media passwords and all that personal information. No. Ain't nobody going to want to come to America. You're not going to want to. If you're a UK citizen, you're looking at that and saying, well, fuck that. I don't want anybody snooping into my Twitter, snooping into my Facebook, into my emails. No. I'm just not going to go to America. Screw that. And that's what's going on here. Why would they? Why would they want to go? This administration seems to very much despise anybody who's not strictly American. Even people from European countries. In fact, the Electronics Frontier Foundation, U.S. nonprofit that campaigns for digital civil rights, now advises any travelers from outside the United States, saying border agents cannot deny a U.S. citizen admission to the country. However, if a foreign visitor declines any of these searches, an agent may deny them entry. Now, again, that's true for right now. American citizens do have the Constitution. They do have constitutional protections. At least for a little while, that says that, hey, we can deny giving you all this information without unless you have a warrant. If you want to see my emails, you want to see this stuff, you're going to have to get a warrant, buddy. You're going to have to get a warrant for this. But foreign citizens, they don't have this protection. Okay? The group's digital privacy guide continues. If a foreign visitor refuses a border agent's demands to unlock their digital device, provide the device password, or provide social media information, and the agent responds by denying entry, the foreign visitor may have very little recourse. So what do you do? Well, if you're a foreign person coming to the United States, you either not come to the United States, which, by the way, kills our tourism industry. Congratulations to all the nationalist douchebags who love that idea. Like, yeah, less foreign people. We don't like them foreigners, so they can stay out of our country. But you realize that they actually add a lot to the economy and jobs. In fact, in 2015, tourism accounted for $1.51 trillion in economic activity. Either directly or indirectly affecting nearly 5.5 million jobs. Jobs like, I don't know, the hotel industry. You know anybody who happened to have made a fortune on the hotel industry? Any famous names come to mind? Maybe Manhattan, New York, big tower, starts with a T. Look, as for what you do about this whole thing, right? If you absolutely have to travel to the United States, the EFF recommends travelers minimize the data they carry across the border by not carrying non-essential devices, deleting sensitive information before traveling, and shifting data to cloud services. Changing any passwords, they say, after they have been handed over, and securely resetting devices after they have been accessed and potentially compromised by the CPB can also prevent long-term data insecurity. More complex mitigation efforts have similarly been proposed by information security experts. A passenger could, before traveling, change passwords to random, impossible-to-memorize strings and not install a password manager on any devices crossing the border. Additionally, turning on two-factor authentication on social media accounts prevents them from being accessed with the password alone. However, there is a risk to this. The discretion that border agents have over whether to allow foreign citizens entry to the U.S., particularly those without permanent residency, makes any such effort risky. If mitigation attempts are seen as suspicious in themselves, they may be cited as a reason to deny entry. Ooh, what are you hiding? What are you hiding in there? Well, I just don't want you to see my personal emails. Well, what's in your personal emails? Is it terrorism? Are you ISIS? No. Well, we're just going to have to check anyway. Oh, and if you won't allow us check, you're going to be denied. You're going to be denied entry to the country. So those are the risks to protecting your own privacy if you are a tourist. But more likely, look, what you're going to do is that you're going to just see less and less people that want to travel here. In fact, you have Susan Hall, head of technology and intellectual property team partner at law firm Clark Wilmot, telling The Guardian, quote, "Given the degree of discretion given to U.S. border forces by relevant legislation, it appears to me quite clear that all options, choosing a burner phone, using heavy encryption with the password only being supplied after the traveler has entered the U.S., and change prior to leaving and so forth, risk creating what is called a catch-22 situation, in which any attempt to mitigate the effects of the procedures are likely to be interpreted as possible cause for searching." So she says, in the short to medium term, I think the answer is going to be avoiding all but absolutely essential travel to the United States. I'm aware of at least one conference on cybersecurity and ethical hacking which switched to Toronto at short notice because of these concerns. So this is just the beginning. This is what extreme vetting is beginning to look like. Now, how far are we really willing to go for our safety? We're already shutting people out. Now we're doing invasive searches into their phones, and under the administration, it is completely 100% legal. What's going to happen when that starts stretching to American citizens? You don't think that's in the future? It's not like they already haven't went after some of our privacy protections. It's not like we haven't already gotten rid of habeas corpus under President Obama. How far are they willing to go? Things like the Patriot Act. This is, again, yes, they're going to go after people who are coming into the United States. But where does it end? Who does it stop with? And that's the problem here. And look, nobody should be surprised at all if other countries start doing this to us, by the way. Turnabout is fair play. So I expect a lot of that to be going forward. So if you are an American citizen traveling to one of these countries, expect your stuff to be searched. Expect your emails to be accessed. Again, if these rules pass, I wouldn't be surprised. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.